with former NYPD homicide detective and Democratic candidate for New York City mayor. Bo Dietl is with us this morning. Pollster Lee Carter is with us this morning in our New York studio as well. Let me kick it off with you, Lee. What's your sense of these confirmation hearings? Do you think Sessions will pass? How do you think he fares this time around?
You know, I think he will pass just because we have the Republicans have the majority right now. I think, though, that the Democrats aren't going to give up without a fight. I mean, we already know that Senator Cory Booker is planning to testify against him, and this is sort of an unprecedented thing to see that this is happening. But I think, really, the American people are going to be tired of seeing the Democrats and Republicans squabble and block things and see politics as usual. And even though Chuck Schumer did his little clever memo where he cut and paste or sort of like copied out the names, I think the reason that Donald Trump is president right now, president-elect right now, is because the American people are so tired of politics as usual, people blocking, not getting things done, and really not seeming to work on the side of the American people.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons you decided to run for mayor of New York City, right, Bo Dietl? You saw what happened in this 2016 election, and you're listening to people.
Well, the big reason I'm running for mayor is the current mayor that we have is so ineffective. He's feckless, and he's a person who doesn't really care about New York City. He has something on his agenda. You know, as far as Sessions goes, this is something they're going to harp upon what happened 30 years ago, what he said 30 years ago. People say things and they change. Let's be very honest with our last Attorney General prior to Loretta. We had the Holder there, was held in contempt, Fast and Furious, on and on and on. There were so many issues there. Sessions is a real professional, and what he said 30 years ago shouldn't really equal what we're dealing with today. Today we're trying to get the best Attorney General, and we know we've lived with Holder and Loretta, and it has been very ineffective. I'm one of the victims of the IRS scandal also. For some reason, Bo Dietl was audited twice with the IRS, and this has never been investigated as far as why they were selectively enforcing the IRS. To me, this is criminal.
Yeah. It's a really good point that you make. So you were a victim of that. I mean, the fact is the IRS targeted conservatives. The Department of Justice tried to squash the investigation of Hillary Clinton's foundation. Everything has gotten politicized. But, Bo, I want to ask you about Obama's farewell. The president is giving his farewell address tonight. Interestingly, he's doing it from his hometown of Chicago. So the president reportedly expected to use his speech as a call to action to get more people involved in the democratic process. But we know what's going on in Chicago, Bo. Violence in that city is raging. These numbers are disgusting. 2016, Chicago had 762 homicides. These are from statistics released by the Chicago Police Department. That's an average of 2 murders a day. I know you've been talking about how to curb violence in the Windy City. What is your answer to this, Bo Dietl?
My answer is the ineffective mayor that's there. No one cares about these 762. More people than were killed in Kabul, Afghanistan. We have gangs that are committing 98% of these murders. There's a very simple solution. If the effectiveness of the local law enforcement is ineffective, you have federal guidelines. They use the federal RICO law against organized crime. The federal RICO law is any kind of an organized effort to commit crimes, i.e. murders, drug dealing, and any kind of robberies and all that. All you have to do is put 3 or more together, show you have a systematic crime wave going on, and you could charge with RICO. What you do is you get somebody who's arrested facing serious time, you put them in as undercovers into these gangs, and they identify the gang members that are acting in concert for this criminal enterprise. And then what you do is you get the warrant, you go, you hit the warrant, you take those guns off the street, and damn it, I'm upset about 762. That little 5-year-old girl sitting on her porch getting shot in the head. This is an outrage. And what has our president or our attorney generals said about this? Nothing.
Yeah. Wow. Lee Carter, real quick, you think this issue comes up tonight in his farewell address?
I don't think so. I think that he's going to be talking more about his legacy, and I think he's going to try and go back to his hope, change, and trying to make a better future and trying to save the Democratic Party right now.
Maria, he's one of the most Maria, President Obama was one of the most articulate people I've ever heard. After his State of the Union address, I said, wow, he sounded good, but then I realized he says nothing. Look at the climate control. Look at everything that he's done, Obamacare, every aspect. 8 years, he could have brought us all together, but he's done one thing. He's divided this country for the last 8 years, and he's a nice man.
We'll watch that, and of course we've got all of the anticipation of the address tonight. Bo Dietl, Lee Carter, good to see you both.